Hey everybody, it's Lyn from Lyn's Crafts. I just wanted to come by real quick and show a little variation on the rolled inclusion bead tutorial that I have on my channel. I've got a sheet of transparent clay with just some sprinkles of glitter, some of the Martha Stewart leaf glitter, some sparkly, just iridescent polyflake, I think is what it's called, and then just some green glitter. The other sheet is a sheet of black clay that I've just streaked some folk art in the metallic peridot and folk art metallic in Christmas green. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this black sheet and I'm going to flip it over onto the transparent, and then I'm going to paint the other side. So I'll show you that. What I'm going to do before I paint it though is I'm going to take my roller and mainly around the edges at first I'm going to stick it to that transparent sheet. That way it'll encase my glitter in there just a little bit, because I don't want my sparkles to leak out. Alright, but as you can see, I'm also trapping air in there. So with your craft knife, or in my case the tissue blade, I'm just going to score a couple of spots so the air can get out. And I'm having no success this morning. It's sticking to my roller worse than it is to me. Alright. And I've still got a few, but there we go. And you'll still have a few, but most of it's because of the actual glitter itself traps air. Okay. Now, I'm going to, again, paint if my bottles were actually open. And the one thing you want to be sure of before you flip that piece of clay over is that the paint is dry, because you don't want to trap moisture in between the layers of your clay. Oh, sorry for my growling stomach. It's only like 5:30 in the morning, so I promise I'll eat me some breakfast in a bit. And you want a good, I don't want to say thick coat, but opaque coat at least. Thick enough to be opaque. Because as you roll this out and manipulate it, it's going to start to crackle a little bit, the paint will, and give you some really neat effects. Okay. Streaky and in no way pretty, but that's going to work. That's what I want. It's what I want. So I'm going to let that dry, and I'll come back and show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, now it's mostly dry. Yeah, it's dry. And I've already loosened it from the glass on my table, and it's got a little tear in it. No big deal. What I want to start to do is to roll it. And yes, it can be difficult, and if you get cracks in the right spot, you will have glitter leak out, but it'll all be alright. It will all come together in the end. If I can get my fingernail back under the tissue blade. And there we go. That now. Okay, now I've got it rolled up into a very ugly sausage. Now I'm just going to start squishing it together. And the heat from your hand will start to soften it up just a little bit. You don't want to manipulate it too much. You want to try to maintain your transparent clay on the outside as much as you can. You don't want to roll it too much at this stage because you'll create a hollow in the center, which can be, it can be useful in certain techniques, but not in this one. I tried to make plenty because I know this is going to be pretty. So I want to save a couple for myself. The reason I'm doing this is because my daughter-in-law, one of my daughter-in-laws stopped by and was talking about her and my granddaughter had been collecting rocks. And would I make her a little set of, my granddaughter, a little set of rocks, polymer clay rocks for Christmas. And my niece has bugged me for a couple of years already. Every time I show up over there, first words out of her mouth, Aunt Lyn, did you bring your rocks? Your box of rocks? So, I need to make her own box of rocks. So, not to be left out, my grandson will need his own box of rocks also. So. Alright. Just about got that worked through. And again, at this stage, you can start to twist your clay a little bit to manipulate those colors in there just a little bit more, or you can leave it just like it is. There's so many ways from right here to do different beads, stones, beads, anything like that. You can slice your roll this way and manipulate them from the end like this, where you have sort of a spiral design, or you can do a thicker slice and manipulate the ends together, and roll it into a ball. And that's what I'm gonna do, at least with one of them. So take a look at it here. See whether I think I want to twist it or not. I really don't think I do. I don't know. It might look interesting with that streak right there already. So I'll be right back. Okay, and since I made plenty of it, I've sliced the roll in half. And this is what I was talking about. You can take a slice and have this design after you've manipulated a little. And here's what I was talking about creating a hollow spot in the center. It's almost unavoidable with this much glitter in the roll. And that's why you have to work it so much afterwards. So I'm gonna see about. And again, the more you manipulate it, you see, the more it will open up. And we don't really want that. So it's a delicate balance. But since it's free form, you can go with whatever you wanted. I could just take this whole thing and just wad it up into a ball, and that would start to bring it together a lot better, but that's not what I'm looking for. I don't want that marbled an effect. But as you start to get those layers in there warm, they will start to coat the glitter and it'll come apart less. But see how much detail we're starting to get now, even though the transparent is still on the outside. If you can see in there, you can see that leaf glitter. That's going to really shine through nice as the transparency comes out in the clay. So I think we're going to work with a piece of this. Well, obviously I'm going to work with several pieces of it. What I usually do here is I'll get my, I have a small ruler, and I usually will try to roll out about even amounts, either 4 inches or 6 inches. And when you're rolling beads, regular round beads, you can actually do that and size them pretty evenly. In other words, I'd flip it around to my millimeter size over here, and I'd make me slices at however many millimeters I want on the bead. But I've got about 4 inches right there. And the only reason I do that is to try to make cabochons or whatever of the same size. So I usually try to start with 1 inch. And I'm very sorry if I'm out of frame. The sun's not even up yet, so I don't have any good light. If I'm driving y'all batty, I'm so sorry. My desk is just not in a condition right now where I could even think about putting my tripod up. So, okay, now you see we've reduced our roll down a lot. If y'all have watched my channel for very long, y'all know that I do not do caning. I don't do cane work in polymer clay. This would be the closest thing you'd ever get to me doing caning. And I was going to say that on this roll, you can always slice the roll in half, and there's certain ways you can flip those pieces around and manipulate them into different types of canes and stuff. But like I said, I don't really do that. So alright, we've got our 4 little sections. And what I will do on these is I will start to mash the ends together. I want to bring that transparent clay over the end of the bead. Stone in this case. Like that. That way when you roll it into a ball, you don't see those cut ends. So, just like that. And I do the same thing when I'm making beads. There are times when it's pretty to let those cut ends show, but it's not the look I'm going for right now. I didn't have a cut end on this end, so it's not going to come together quite the same, but I'm going to leave it. I don't want to give up the clay. Alright, I'm going to finish doing this last 1.5 beads and I'll be back. Alright, now I'm going to take this one and you can actually have a lot of choice in how the bead comes out from right here. I'm going to roll this into a ball in my palms, and depending on how I manipulate it first, I'm going to try to get this prominent. So as you can see, I've already got it almost into a ball. And there you go. It's going to bake up very, very interesting. So I'm going to do that and roll the rest of these up, and I'll come back and show you what they look like before I put them in the oven. Okay, I've got these 4 that I'm going to leave as beads, and I'll run a hole through them before I bake them. The other 4 I'm going to make little cabochons out of, like this. So you can easily look at your bead. Let's look at it over here, sorry. And you can decide which side you want to face up on your cabochon. And I can see under the transparent right here, there's going to be a lot of glitter. So I'm going to use this as my face up. So I've got my little baking towel, and I'm seriously just going to press down with my thumb. Excuse my nails, y'all. Have desperately got to do something with my nails. But I've been up since about 3:30 this morning, so painting and trying to get stuff done. I woke up because it was so hot in here last night. I woke up at 3:30, I actually thought the heater was on. It was that hot. Yeah, and it got down to like 55 last night, so it's supposed to be almost 70 again today, and then cool off a little bit. So I have enjoyed this week. The weather has been lovely, although I was not expecting. The night before, actually, the weather said that it was exactly the same degrees, 55. I don't believe it for a minute. Got up yesterday morning. It was frost all over the ground. It was freezing in the night. So I know there was no way it was 55, even though that's what it said. Again, I'm going to choose this glitter up side right here. And then I'm going to do that to these 2. And then I'm going to bake all of these, and I'll come back when they're finished and I'll show them to you. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to leave them below. Like I said, the other tutorial is called the rolled inclusion beads. That goes over this main technique, but without the acrylic paint. And there's still lots of other things you can use as inclusions in these beads. Spices, embossing powder, as I showed, which can go a little wonky if your temperature's up too high, as we found out the hard way. So, alright, do I want this side up? Yeah, I think I want it about like that. Showing kind of half and half-ish. Yeah. Alright. Again, I'll come back when these are through baking. When I'm using transparent clay, after they come out of the oven, when they're still good and piping hot, I dunk them into a glass of ice water. It's supposed to help with the transparency a little bit. And it does seem to make it turn a little more transparent, more see-through a little bit. So, okay. Okay, while we're waiting on those to bake, I'll show you the other ones that I did. These are just out of the regular white Sculpey clay. And when they've come out, I've painted them white. I know they're already white, but I've painted them white and then put a coat of clear on them, and then come back and sprayed with one of the Lindy Stamp Gang colors. This one is the Tainted Love Teal. And then put another coat of the gloss on there to kind of make it look like glazed ceramic a little bit. Same thing, this one's the Freaky Frankenline. The Witch's Potion Purple. The Hagwort Orange. And this is what's left of my Gossamer Gold, which I had a hard time getting it out of there. I finally had to resort to my paintbrush. This one actually has just a little shot of the, I think it's called Tropical Paradise Aqua or something like that. And then I've rubbed gold, Inca Gold on there. Little paw prints. Each one of them's name in a rock, and again with the Inca Gold, and this time in the old silver. And then just a little, I don't even know what to call it, a spoked wheel, and it's painted black, and then it's got the black opal Judikins embossing powder on the top of it. So there's their rocks so far. So I think they'll have fun with them. So my grandson loves to come over here and go through my beads anyway, so I think having their own beads will make them all smile. So I will be back in a few minutes. Let's see what we got left. 20 minutes before those beads are ready. Okay, here we go. Now that they've been sanded just barely and polished and have a gloss glaze on them, look how pretty. Just transparent clay, black clay, and paint, and a bit of glitter. Love that one. You can see the striping and the paint underneath, and the glitter shows up fantastic. Really pretty. And each one of them is just so unique. There you go. And then the beads. Just cannot get away from the glare. And boy, my transparent turned really clear today. Gotta love that. Okay, there's my variation on rolled inclusion bead for today. Yay! And I'm gonna get my bags of rocks, boxes of rocks, whatever, for my kiddos ready, and I'm about done except for wrapping presents. Yep, wrapping presents. So we'll have Christmas with my grandson this weekend, and probably with the rest of the family on Christmas Eve, depending on the weather. Of course, it's been nice, 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 and then right before Christmas here, it's supposed to get cold. So, I think they're taking the chance of snow out of the forecast, though. So, there's that. And I don't think I have another video up after this for a little bit anyway. Oh yeah, I do. I have my winnings from Beth's scrapbook room, so I'll be back with that. So there we go. Let's see if I can get down good on them. Ooh, good shot. Alright, I'll holler at y'all later. Bye now.